What is going on, Rotogrinders? Dean here. It's Dean7904. If you want to get all technical, that is the daily fantasy handle. Of course, it's 5:30 on the East Coast, 2:30 West Coast, 4:30 Tennessee time. Of course, it's time of the flagship show here at Rotogrinders. It's called Grinderslive. It's Friday, three-man booth, not messing around, batting first, leading off. Will, I feel like, have you not been here all week? I feel like we haven't talked all week. Is this, yeah, well, welcome back. If we did like on Tuesday or Monday, I lose track of the days and things are forgettable. But what's up, Will? How are things in your world?
I'm good, man. No, I haven't been on all week for Grinderslive. I was on Crunch Time. So, we missed each other. But glad to be here, man. It's a good slate. I'm excited. And I like pretty much every slate. Yeah. But this feels like it might be my most fun slate of the year. Like I like a lot. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I feel differently. I don't love this slate, and most of the stuff I love, there's potential weather issues. I'm going to go ahead and drop this. I'm curious to get your take. I want to hear. I could be swayed because I'm on the fence on a lot of things. A lot of weather issues out that are currently lurking. I'm going to go ahead and drop this in the chat. What up, chat? Do like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Kevin Ross, weather. You mentioned Crunch Time. He'll, of course, be on Crunch Time later on tonight, 6:30 to be precise. Take you guys all up the lock, tell you guys what's going down weather-wise, giving the most up-to-date update. And this should be updated. He usually does it about 90 minutes before first pitch. Well, and I guess he just did. So, I was going to say click refresh. Yeah, if you guys click that link once, click it again, or refresh it. Checking it out now as far as what's going on weather-wise. And, yeah, in one of our best pitchers in the slate, we have some weather issues as far as NOLA, at least, let's see, Philadelphia. Oh, it looks like it's got a little bit better. We'll give the analysis. We'll give our thoughts. But, of course, we're not weathermen. We don't pretend to be, and Roth will give us the final word as far as our risk tolerance going down. It's 7 o'clock or so, give or take, on Crunch Time. Andre, your thoughts as far as this slate? Break the tie because, and also Tampa Bay is another place that I was, enthused as far as the bats. Tampa Bay at Baltimore, locked in for 9 against Matt Harvey and his bad bullpen friends. What is our general assessment as far as tonight's slate?
It's a headache and a half. Weather is very important. Pay attention to it if you're multi-entering, because if otherwise you will lose a lot of money. So that's how I can best describe it as, just from experience playing it, being the being a fortunate person on both sides of the stick. So the good and the bad of it.
New York, it appears that there is a flash flood warning over the ballpark for the Mets. That looks like the one that's most dangerous as of right now. So just looking at the colors, of course, there's actual words you can read and dig into, but we're not here to read the entire thing. Read at your own leisure. But orange as far as the Mets flash flood warning there. And Philadelphia, Arizona, one of the two best pitchers in the slate, NOLA, it's been upgraded to just yellow. We're seeing yellow now in Baltimore, yellow, green in Atlanta, yellow for Minnesota. So Minnesota looks like it's slightly improved. Doesn't mean it's without risk, but it less risk, at least based upon that color. See what Roth has to say on Crunch Time. Hey, if you guys want to get Crunch Time access, amongst all the other things we have here at Rotogrinders, you know how to do that. Get yourself $10 off the first month just for one sport, baseball. Why would you want just one sport? You can get all the sports, $10 off as well. That's football, NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, PGA, college football. There's actually a preseason NFL Tonight content. I believe it's tonight. I'm not playing, fairly certain. MMA, esports, WNBA, which reminds me, I'm in the queue right now. You guys get any Top Shot for WNBA? Anybody else doing that tonight?
Well, I did get a pack, dude. I got a pack. I was early too. I was in like the 9,000 range, so I didn't have to like wait all day. And I almost missed it. When I came back to my computer, I was in like 77th place. I went, ate some shrimp and grits, ironed a shirt, just stuff like that. And I said, oh, top, and I ran back downstairs. I said, hey, all right. And then I ended up with two of the same player with an 8,000 serial number. And I got a Sue Bird
and
a high serial number. But either way, I said, well, this wasn't great, but hey, it was $9. I got a chance to participate in an inaugural WNBA pack rip. It was worth my $9. I didn't spend a lot of time on it.
I'm still I'm 18,000 currently out of I guess there's still 20,000 packs left or so, give or take.
Oh, you should get it back.
I'm on the fringe, yeah. But I just got to remember, because if your turn's up and you stick around for 10 minutes, it's gonna let it go, whatever the clock is. They got to be on top of it. But not to mention, we talk about all the sports are running down, the lineup HQ for all those sports, all the videos. We'll have tons of videos for NFL, obviously. Lineup HQ optimizer, projections, ownership percentage, premium expert filters, expert survey, so much good stuff. We'll be talking about a good bit of it, but there's so much behind the scenes, behind the paywall you guys can get at. Great time to jump in with the NFL right around the corner, 13 days or so from the actual official kickoff Thursday night. Super excited for that. All right, let's dig into tonight's slate. No more time for nonsense, because we got a full slate. A lot of dudes are throwing baseballs. 30 starting pitchers throwing baseballs tonight. Do we officially know who the Dodgers starting pitcher is? Because that's kind of sort of somewhat important on DK. I mean, is it going to be Mitch White, or is it going to be that Jackson guy? Because we don't know yet, right? The Dodgers are playing.
I thought it was going to be Jackson, but
yeah, I don't know. I think it's the same situation we had a couple weeks ago, where I think he was in AAA and they were projecting he's probably going to come. And I think he came in the middle of the game. He jumped in the third or fourth inning and pitched 4 innings or so. But he's 4K on DK, which is just something to be aware of, I would say. A super punt, the pitching pool today. I don't know, Andre, you tell me. As far as the pitchers, there's two clear studs: Garrett Cole, Aaron Nola, some good pitchers. Most that don't really have good matchups, just pretty good pitchers. None that look spectacular because of the matchup. How are you handling pitching? What are your thoughts, general thoughts as far as pitchers?
Yeah, I've been trying to condense it down since I've been running my optimizer all day today and think about who I'm gonna have. But to me, it's hard. To me, I want a little bit of a lot of pitchers today. Obviously, I'm trying to be most overweight on probably the guy in the best that I feel is in the best spot, which I'm still working out right now. But I love getting to some of these guys that are low owned that I think can have the strike ability and also bounce back positions like Eduardo Rodriguez, who had a horrible game last time, and it was at the live final when it ruined me. But he, I think he could probably bounce back against Cleveland today. So that's someone that's low owned that I might try to be a little bit overweight on the field on, which won't be that hard to get to. So guys like him, maybe even like Joe Musgrove at lower ownership. Guys like those who are good pitchers in a little bit tougher matchups might be might be the best way to go, I say, in tournaments. And I just pick on some easy spots, as most people probably will do the same thing.
Do you have a preference amongst the two big arms, Garrett Cole versus Oakland, or Nola at home? We had, again, some weather issues earlier in the day, look a little bit better. Arizona, not a good lineup as is. The Ketel Marte got hurt yesterday, so he's not in the lineup today. So that lineup looks even worse than it typically would be. As far as those two, Cole or Nola, you have a stance there?
Nola is my guy today, just because the weather is making it a little bit more easier for you to get to him. Like you said, Marte's on the lineup, so that helps out a lot as far as the strikeout upside that he's going to have. And he just pitched against San Diego, and they had a phenomenal game. Phenomenal. So to me, Nola's the guy for sure. Garrett Cole, he definitely has the upside, but he also is 1,200. No, 1,100. No, it is 1,200 more. He is on FanDuel as far as price point wise. So you're getting a little bit of a discount off of Nola versus Cole, and the matchup is better. So to me, that's the top choice. I would go with those two.
I'm just furiously Googling, trying to figure out who Jake McCarthy is, who's playing baseball tonight for Arizona. This might be his MLB debut. I think it is. Amongst the prospects for Arizona, he's currently 46th ranked on that team. He does have a little bit of power. He's got a little bit of speed for what it's worth, but he did strike out a good bit in the minor leagues as well. 23.1% in AAA. In AA, he struck out 29% of the time. So that looks like, a guy waiting to get struck out, which is just appealing as well. That's your replacing Ketel Marte with. Definitely an upgrade for Nola pitching perspective. Thoughts there, Will, as far as Nola versus Cole?
Well, I mean, I like them both equally today. I think one of the things that Cole has working in his favor, because I don't really have to sell you on Nola. You've seen the matchup. You know what he can do. I don't really want to try to sell you on that. I think the thing with Cole is he's going to have much better weather and pitching conditions today than a lot of these other pitchers. I mean, he's going to be out there in Oakland. And as you can see, I've got my A's brim on today.
I like it.
But not for Oakland. It was just a nice hat. But I think Garrett Cole has a good day. He can get Ks against any team. Weather should be in the 70s. We know this isn't the best hitters park in the world. So I think Nola is equally as good in my book. He gets 8 or 9 Ks here and gets through clean. His team gets the win, and he's looking good. Even so, I mean, if he gets through 6 innings clean with 9 Ks, he's still going to be up there. So I like him a lot. I think one guy that I wanted to mention that's going to be a little bit off the board and very scary for a lot of people, it's going to be Kyle Freeland at 7K. I'm not saying Kyle Freeland is a world beater, but I mean, he's been very serviceable since like the beginning of the season, once he kind of got rolling. And I want people to remember this because, Kyle Freeland was pitching fairly well. Was this 2 years ago? He was just pitching phenomenally. I don't think it was last year. It was 2 years ago, I think, and then he got hurt. But I don't think Kyle Freeland goes out here and gets beat up by the Dodgers tonight. I don't see it. So I'm going to side with Freeland here. I did want to, but it's because he's 7K as well, right? I think most people are going to go to Odorizzi, and I like it, but I don't know if he gets there. I think he's going to give up some bombs. So when you look at Freeland, if you look at his 30-day numbers, and the reason I'm going 30 days is because if you include the beginning part of the season when he kind of came back, was ramping up, he got beat up a little bit. But if you look at his most recent performances, I mean, he's got a 26.5% K rate, 3.43 xFIP, 4.3% walk rate, is giving up a little bit of hard contact to righties, and then lefties he's only striking out 14%, which seems really weird. I'm just showing you this to say that I think the numbers are coming around and they'll normalize. And so, when I take a look at Freeland here at 7K, I just think this is a good price for a quality pitcher. If he gets 20 points, I'll feel great. If he got 18 points, I feel fine. So he is someone that I wanted to mention that isn't a scary matchup, but I think the price, if I had to choose between him and Odorizzi, who I think a lot more people will choose, I'd absolutely choose him. On the flip side of that, if Jackson is in fact going to be pitching and he's 4K, I absolutely want to get in on some Jackson at 4K. Outside of that, I wanted to mention those people. Max Fried, I think is going to be serviceable as well. And I mentioned this on the podcast last night, but Wade Miley against Miami, I know he got touched up a little bit the last start. I still think this is a good spot for him. This Miami team is striking out at a tremendous clip. They'll score 10 runs one game, and the next game they'll strike out 26 times. That's not even possible, but they will do it. So I like them. And then Erod at 9,400, not my favorite play on the board, but he does have some strikeout ability. And so I'm trying to kind of give guys that I think I'd be building with in tournaments. I would absolutely be locking in one of Garrett Cole or Aaron Nola and mixing and matching. That would be my strategy today. Last but not least, McClanahan is 10-7. Do you think he has the upside to outscore Cole or Nola? It's possible. I would still play him today against Baltimore. I don't think it's likely that he outscores him, but I definitely think it's possible. I think he gets at least 23 to 25 fantasy points. Does he get 28 to 30 is the question. I think it's possible. I would absolutely play him. Not my favorite between those three, but I think in terms of ownership, he's going to be the one that doesn't get any. In fact, I mean, we've got it projected for 5% right now. Some of that's right. Some of that's probably weather. But either way, I know I've talked a lot about pitching today, but there we have it. I guess because I'm playing DK, I have to talk about 2, and that's why I'm so excited. But we won't get into that right now.
Yeah, you'll be concentrating on DraftKings. Andre is going to be concentrating on FanDuel, where we answer your questions there in chat. That's why, chat. Prompt. I know Devin's compiling. I'm sure his questions are throughout that already. But whatever questions you have regarding the slate, feel free to fire them off. Devin, our fabulous multitasking producer, he'll be compiling them, throwing them my way, and I will be asking them at the end of the show. Just the more details, the better. Let us know if it's for cash, for tournament, if it's FanDuel, if it's DraftKings, single entry, the large field, all that good stuff makes the question much more helpful as far as answering it. Clean up a couple things. Extreme hitters umpire, extreme pitchers umpire. Here are the extremes today. Extreme hitters umpire for Rich Hill, Taylor Widener, Aaron Nola, extreme hitters umpire, Paulo Espino, extreme hitters umpire, extreme pitchers umpire for Wade Miley, Glenn Otto, who's a person, Zach Thompson, and the aforementioned Jake Odorizzi, which, man, I hate if Jake Odorizzi is going to be chalky. It's a good matchup and he's super cheap. And I kind of sort of somewhat get it. And it's mostly because the mid-tier stinks. Last thing on Garrett Cole, you talk about that ballpark. That ballpark is awesome to pitch in from a run prevention perspective, but it does suppress strikeouts to some degree just because strikeouts, pop-ups or foul balls starting to like pop outs, which again is good for outs. Outs are good, but strikeouts are better. So, and also that Oakland team is really, really contact heavy. If you look at the plate IQ, only one player on this team has got a K rate above 21%. We know the official lineup, projected lineup, Matt Chapman. Otherwise, collectively 19.5%, a pretty contact heavy squad. Of course, Garrett Cole's got the biggest K rate in the slate by a really big margin, 35-36%. Andre, your thoughts as far as, Freeland is that feels like MME stuff for me. Like, I'm not a single entry guy, but if you're firing, you talked about, I want to get.
Yeah, let me clear it up. I'm not talking about cash at all. So
yeah.
I don't want anybody to say, Will told us to go out and play Kyle Freeland and cash. Please. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about tournaments when I want 3 to 5K bats. That's what I'm talking about. I am not talking about cash. So please don't misconstrue what I said. Not you, Dean.
Yeah. I knew what you meant.
For the chat. Yeah.
Of course, you're not going to advocate that for cash. That doesn't make any sense. But for tournaments, the argument also is like the middle just stinks. And you mentioned Odorizzi. Gilbert has been good this year, but he's kind of scuffled his last couple of times out. But he's interesting. Musgrove's overpriced, but Clanahan's a big arm and lots of Ks. They won't let him go very far, but that price is egregious. Can he beat Cole and Nola? Sure, but that's because Cole and Nola need to have like not their ceiling games. Jump in here, Andre. As far as that mid tier, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, it's very, very, very rough. It's not really that many guys to pick from, honestly, that you're going to target. One other guy I do like that he had a pretty decent matchup against, pretty decent game against him the last time, J.A. Happ. At 1%, he can also at 1% on at least on FanDuel, he can do some pretty good things against Pittsburgh, but who knows with the way St. Louis has been playing today as a whole. But yeah, and he mentioned Wade Miley, who I like. I like getting to him a lot today too as well. Someone else in the mid range who's been pitching phenomenal well and against Miami. It's just we just gotta worry about Miami hitting. Miami to me is like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of team. They're not good. They don't look good on paper, but they tend to hit and play well in weird spots. So I just hope there's not one of those weird spots that do that. But like you mentioned, Gilbert is the best probably option at the mid tier, in the low range, especially on FanDuel, and I probably wouldn't even go lower than him on FanDuel. Except for maybe possibly Rich Hill. But Gilbert, I think, is just he's just in a good spot against Kansas City. I just don't know how much I'm going to get to him, honestly, because I feel like I want a team that has that's going to strike out more, which I can get those options with J.A. Happ, who plays a little bit more. I even kind of, like I said, like Musgrove, who I mentioned before, and even Sean Manaea, because we know the Yankees, they do strike out. They do, no matter what, they have a lot of power bats, but they do tend to strike out too, a lot.
I'm pulling up this Marlins lineup, by the way, against lefties, and there is some small samples in here in the plate IQ, but collectively, this lineup versus lefties have struck out 32.2% of the time this season. And that's with Rojas striking at 11.1%. Jazz at 34% left on left. Alfaro, he's playing left field, 2 catchers again tonight for the Marlins, 36%. Anderson, not a huge sample, but 42%. Sanchez, 31% left on left, and we holes in his swing, lots of power though. And then Jackson, the other catcher, again, small sample, but 54%. But Miley this year, mostly righties in that lineup against righties, 17% strikeouts, 18.7 against righties. It's 18.7 on the season, and righties specifically is 17.8. And that's why I know salary is the thing. We live in the world of salary cap, but I'm just going to try to get Cole and Nola together and figure the bats out. What do you think of that strategy, Andre?
I don't blame you, and that's a good. There's enough teams on the slate where your bats can be completely different. A lot of teams are probably going to go under their own just based on people getting nervous about the weather, especially on DK where everything locks and you can't switch anything out. So I don't mind that strategy at all. If you're going to do that, just hope you have a lot of different bats that are going to pay off. Which, especially in tournaments, you can on this slate, it'll be easy because no one's going to be terribly too high owned. My opinion.
I mean, there are some cheap bats we'll talk about soon enough. And again, that's why I mentioned Andre Jackson. Right now, according to DK, he's going to be pitching, but that's just according to DK. According to I think our stuff, I think we have White starting, but either way, like White's the guy I don't think is going to go beyond like 3 or 4 innings. So maybe like Jackson came in last time in the 3rd or 4th and pitched 4 innings. And if you can get 3 to 4 innings out of Jackson blindly, I don't know how he's going to do, but I'll take 3 or 4 innings blindly against Colorado for 4K. Especially when it seems like there's not a huge opportunity cost at pitcher. There's not a lot we like. Is that a decent solution? Is that something we're looking at here, Will?
I think it's a decent solution.
Okay. Yeah, and again, I think we got that news for the Dodgers like after the slate even started. Like I feel like it's like 7 o'clock or so. Like, yeah, he's on the way to the ballpark, and we'll see if he's going to pitch. And I don't know how close their AAA team happens to be, if they're even still playing. I don't know the logistics. But as of right now, I think it's in play that he's going to be getting some run. And if he's 4K, sure, why not? I'm interested. Give me a summary here as far as the pitchers, Will. Somebody just tuned in right now. Summarize your favorite pitchers. Summarize what you're focusing
on. Play the good pitchers, which are going to be Cole and Nola and a handful of other people. Like guys like Erod, I think are going to kind of get left out to dry tonight. McClanahan, I don't think is going to get a whole lot of ownership. Sean Manaea is definitely probably not going to get ownership with the way he's been pitching over the past 4 games. So I think guys like that have upside. My boy Kyle Freeland is not going to get any ownership. Anyway, so guys like that, I would be willing to get away from a semi-chalky Odorizzi. I think right now we have him around 13-15%. That's fairly chalky for a big slate. So I would kind of get away from guys like that and try to play some of the others. And that's kind of what I would do. I know Dallas Keuchel's kind of in a good spot. I think I'm going to fade him too. I wouldn't be playing Rich Hill, Zach Thompson, these guys. J.A. Happ, I know Dre mentioned him. That was a guy. It's like, man, I wish he was the 7K pitcher, right? If he was the 7K guy, yeah. I'd be in because I'm gonna tell you right now, Kyle Freeland's got better numbers than J.A. Happ recently. This just J.A. Happ has the better matchup, and he's priced accordingly for the matchup. So I think that's where I am. But bottom line is, I think you need to play whatever pitcher you think is the best pitcher on this slate between Cole, Nola, or anybody else in this 9K range. If you think is your guy, play him. I don't care if it's McClanahan. Like, I don't think McClanahan's going to get blown up. I think he gets 25 points and with upside for 30. So that's where I am on this slate. Can't wait to get to the bats.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like that mid tier. You mentioned Keuchel, and once upon a time, Keuchel was a guy that can his upside's basically complete game shutouts. Like, he could do that on occasion, but he's still not very good. His strikeouts obviously are putrid on the season, 13.6%. That is so dreadful. But he's facing the Cubs, who just might be as dreadful from a hitting perspective. It's a terrible lineup as always. The brothers Romine, both Romines are in there. Hayward, Wisdom, power of 44% strikeouts. It's just an awful lineup. But this is like, it's a bunch of dudes here, Andre, in the mid tier that, we mentioned J Happ. Nobody wants to roster J Happ. Keuchel, nobody wants to roster him. Odorizzi, nobody wants to roster him. But, salary cap constraints, and you got to play somebody. And Gilbert, I guess, is interesting. I had a hard time ranking my pitchers today because I don't like a lot. Give me your thoughts and anything else you want to add there, and your summary as far as pitchers.
Like I said, my thoughts are like if you can be overweight on one of the top 2 pitchers, if you're multi-entering for sure, I would have less Gilbert. I would have probably at the field of not less on Gilbert, and I'll try to get over on your favorite lower range or mid tier pitcher. Like me personally, one of my favorites or Erod. I like Steven Matz even a little bit, and J Happ. So I would try to be a little bit over the field on those guys for sure, and just see what it all lands. But make sure you have a verse player pool of pitching, because there's going to be something wonky and wacky that happens tonight. I pretty much probably almost guarantee that for sure.
All right. Going to talk about our favorite stacks in just a second. Before we do that, we do want to mention the PrizePicks promo. Sign up for PrizePicks today. Use the promo code Grinders, GRINDERS, with your first deposit for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. And to get you guys started, if you happen to be playing on PrizePicks tonight, well, Will, you got some winners. Andre, you got some winners for the people. Will, you go first?
Yeah, man. In terms of what I'm doing tonight on PrizePicks, 2-pick power on this thing. Garrett Cole over 41 fantasy points. Kyle Freeland over 22 fantasy points. No surprise there. Even if you don't want to play Freeland in DFS, I'm telling you right now, 22 is too low for what he's been doing. I don't care if it is the Dodgers. Like, it's too low. So, I've kind of got this predicted. I think Cole gets about 46 here. Let's say 43 to 46. I think Cole will end up with about 8 strikeouts here. And Freeland, I just think he's going to get the job done. I got him pegged for around 26 to 30 fantasy points. So that was enough for me to hop on board. But I think both of these guys at 41 and 22, we definitely need to be taking the overs.
Andre?
Yeah, and I have just 3 hitters today that I like to over on, and that's Joey Votto. Going to match up in Cincinnati. For Cincinnati against Miami. So I think he's going to honestly probably hit a home run today. Bryce Harper was obviously the phenomenal matchup for the Philadelphia Phillies going against Arizona. So that's someone else I'd really love to get to. And Brandon Nimmo, if that game plays with the weight of or how bad it's raining in New York, I like for him to get a couple singles and to definitely get over that 7.5 fantasy points that we have for him today.
Yeah, that Met game, I'll go ahead and talk about Ross Weather. I'll go put it in chat one more time for the people. That looks like the diciest as of right now. Of course, Roth will be on crunch time and give you a better update on it, but currently it's orange, flash flood warning in the ballpark. You mentioned Harper. I like Harper a lot too, but just that lineup takes a pretty significant hit. Hoskins, he has a groin, so I think he's out for the season. And JT Realmuto not in that lineup either. So overall, that Philadelphia lineup is rough. Widener, not very good. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about our favorite stacks. And well, Andre, you go first. I mean, I think there's a pretty clear one, and there's a lot that we should consider. You tell me who's the favorite stack that's jumping off the board for you?
The favorite stack that I feel like is jumping off the board is to me is I have 2 that I really like a lot. Obviously Tampa Bay with Matt Harvey, and I definitely kind of like Toronto a little bit too as well, going against Manning. So to me, I feel like they're neck and neck. They might even be flipped, but they're just in the best matchup going against the 2 like pretty much not that great pitchers. Matt Harvey who's a shell of himself and what he was, and Matt Manning, who's been decent this year, but not also a great or elite pitcher. So, and these are great hitting teams, and they are very well. At least Tampa Bay's more patient than Toronto is, in my opinion. So those are 2 stacks I definitely like a lot on the board, and we'll tend to try to have more of. And the sneaky stack that I do like to try to get to, if depending on the weather in that game, is going to be the Mets. I think they're going under own compared to what they should be. And we talked about that a little bit pre-show, but that's a team that I would love to try to be over the field on for sure.
Yeah, Manning, you mentioned the pitcher for Detroit, uber prospect, but he's just not there just yet. Not even close, really. 11.3% as far as his Ks in the season. That's just dreadful. Toronto's going to certainly be putting the ball in play. And, like we talked about, Baltimore, awesome ballpark, great slow pitchers to match up against. You're locked in for 9 innings. There was some weather issues. There still may be some weather issues. Stay tuned and see what Roth has to say on that. But Tampa looks really, really appealing. Our consensus rankings today, as far as our favorite stacks, that is 1-2. Tampa Bay and Toronto, no surprise there. Will, your thoughts on those teams and somebody else you want to bring into the conversation?
I won't talk about those teams. Those are my thoughts, just because I think those guys are obvious. I actually thought Boston was going to garner a lot more ownership today against Logan Allen. Really shocked that didn't kind of pop up. My assumption is they would be around the 3 or 4 range on the consensus rankings. I do still like the Phillies as long as the weather's going to hold up. And one of the main reasons why, I can literally get this stat going against Taylor Widener and just pile up on pitching. I mean, Odubel's at 4K.
It's cheap.
So, Bryce Harper 6,400, but I mean, I got Didi at 39, Brad Miller at 35, Freddie Galvis 37, Andrew Knapp 2K, cheap catcher alert. My goodness, Travis Jankowski, if you want to get a little bit more interested, at 2,600. These are fantastic prices against a pitcher that's not great in a hitter-friendly ballpark. So I still like the Phillies. I think they're up there. Of course, I probably shouldn't have to tell you guys my favorite team on the slate. Don't look now. The Houston Astros are getting healthy. And of course, Altuve isn't playing today. But that nonetheless,
who's leading off?
My boy Michael Brantley is leading off. This is like an automatic run score, first inning, third inning, ninth inning. I mean, man. So Michael Brantley, 4K, Jordan. Bregman's back. Tucker's back. I like Houston. I think they're going to be in a good spot. And then last but not least, in terms of maybe another non-obvious team, and they don't have a whole lot of ownership, the Chicago White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
My gosh. Love the White Sox today. Will have some White Sox in my lineup. And let me tell you my favorite bat on the slate, bar none. This is my favorite bat. This is the numbers play of the day. Let me get on Eloy Jimenez today. I'm not saying he's going to hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 home runs, but I do feel like one is in the bucket here. In terms of him facing Mr. Thompson in this pitch type, average velocity of about 94.6 miles per hour, doesn't matter. Eloy Jimenez, 424 WOBA, 475 ISO, 64.86% hard hit rate, average exit velocity of 98.79 miles per hour, average hit distance of 354. I think this is going to be a good spot for him. One of my favorite bats on the day, Eloy Jimenez. He is absolutely the first bat I plug into my lineup ahead of Michael Brantley today.
Wow.
Eloy Jimenez. Love him today.
Can I bet Brantley to score a run today? Isn't that like on PrizePicks? There's somebody saying they have a guy.
Let me check that. I was looking at Brantley props. Give me a second. I was looking at Brantley props earlier, and I don't know if they had him at runs. Let me see. I know they had him at. They do. He's at a 0.5 to score a run. Dean, I mean, he's going to score a run today. I'm going to go ahead and just put that in with my pitchers, make it a 3-pick power, and let's run to the bank, Dean. I love it. Same thing for Eloy. Eloy's at a half a run today. All the guys that I like are at half a run. So I think we're good. Get on over to PrizePicks, folks. It's fantastic.
So you mentioned Boston. They don't have a lineup out just yet. We're an hour and 7 minutes from the first pitch. And Kike Hernandez is in the COVID protocol, or he got COVID, something to do. He's not. I assume he's not going to play. I assume that's why it's holding up the lineup. And I'm not sure if that affects other players too. I don't know. So I don't know what we're going to see out of Boston, basically is what I'm saying. But I agree with you. Boston was a really, really interesting lineup, not knowing who's playing, but assuming it's the guys, with the exception of Kike. Logan Allen this year in a small sample is giving up 3.57 homers per 9 in 22 innings. I mean, that's a little bit of goofiness as far as harming the fly ball at 33%. That should go down. There's been some, negative regression. But, I mean, look, that's terrible. And if you stretch it back to the last 3 years, again, not a huge sample, but we're talking about a guy with an ISO of, 286 to lefties, 234 to righties. WOBA to lefties, 425, 398 to righties. I don't know who's playing for Boston tonight, but yeah, they certainly have to be in the conversation. They got to be on the board. As far as lineups we did get, Kemp is leading off today for Oakland. Kemp, Marte, Olsen, Lowry, Harrison, Chapman, Canna, Murphy, and Elvis. And well, you mentioned Houston, and I was the only one. I was surprised. I was the only one to rank Houston in my top 5 stacks today.
Couldn't believe it.
Yeah, well, it's because San Diego is on the board. I don't think we mentioned them. It's basically a bullpen game against what's the dude's name? Pitching the opposing team's got an awesome name. Oh, what's the guy's name? It's better than Glenn Otto. Did you guys know who I'm talking about?
Packy Naughton?
Yeah, Packy Naughton. What a name.
Packy is not in our list today.
He's like an opener, I think. I think he's just a couple innings or so, and then we'll get a bullpen from the Angels. And the Padres will get the benefactor of a DH, which helps you turn over the lineup, makes the lineup stronger as is. 5.33 as far as the team total. Andre, do you like San Diego? Do you like Boston? When you say on Houston, I'm a big fan of Houston as well, because like Will said, that they're just getting so much healthier. We haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah, I definitely like Boston for sure. I like Houston a decent amount. I'm not gonna be heavily exposed like Will is on them, but I definitely like getting to them. And you said the Padres. Padres is an interesting one. I'm surprised they're not getting that high ownership with the run total of 5. I know they haven't been playing well lately, but this could be a get right spot for them with this guy. We're going against this guy. So I love it. Won't be easy to get over the weight on the field on them, but I love trying to get probably like 3 or 4 times overweight on them, so that way in the tournaments and see what happens.
All right, Devin is throwing a bunch of questions my way. I see we have a lot of stacks we want to talk about. The chat wants to talk about, basically a continuation of this game. So I might as well just turn it over to the questions in chat. I have a bunch thrown my way, and if we need any more, feel free to throw some out there. We'll do our best to get to all of them, whatever we don't get to. If you guys are premium members, they will get to you, of course, on Crunch Time tonight. Dave Potts Cheese is good, 2-time millionaire winner. He's on there, as well as chief meteorologist Kevin Roth. Andre, you're going to go first. Will, you're going to go second. Devin, he implemented the 2-pronged answer, like a full stack and as like a mini stack or what's a prime stack and a secondary stack. We'll do it that way. If you can give me 2 different numbers, do it that way. First number is the full stack. Second number is like a 3-man. And that's the way we'll do it. Will, you go second. Andre, you go first. Tampa Bay. What do you have for me, Andre?
5-5.
Will?
5.
And a 5?
Do primary, secondary, Will.
Are you busy on
5-5.
PrizePicks? What are we doing? Are you trying to make some
wagers? I'm not. 5-5.
Dodgers. Andre.
Yeah, 5-5.
I'm telling y'all.
Tournaments are going to be so low on 5-5.
Nobody's playing them.
2-2.
White Sox.
God, you like Freeland a lot today. I'm going to say White Sox. I'm going to dig into it more. My answer probably will change, but right now I'm going to say 3-3.
5-4.
San Diego Padres.
I say the tournament's 5-5.
Agreed.
Haven't really talked about this team, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, that's an interesting team. I've been thinking about them a lot.
Brewers isn't good.
Yeah, no, that's a tough one. I really want to say 5-5. I'm gonna say 2 as a main and probably like a 4 as a secondary.
Yep, 3-3 for me.
Boston, which is hard to say because who knows who's playing, but do your best, Andre.
Just because they're gonna be low owned and they don't have no lineup out, 5-5.
They're facing Logan Allen. That's all I need to know. 5. I'd be playing the Cubs today against Logan Allen. That's how much disrespect I have for this man from a fantasy perspective.
JD Martinez is scuffling so badly. Williams Estudio La Tortuga got him out last night. I don't know if you were watching that. Man, he's been rough to watch of late, but in theory, he should be able to break out in this spot. But I've said that a couple times in his scuffling. Atlanta. But you guys watching him pitch last night by chance? It was awesome. He was throwing like 45-mile-an-hour pitches. It was amazing.
Atlanta, I'm gonna say Atlanta is a 1-1 for me.
Same. I know Gausman can get a little wild, but I'm not gonna risk it.
Is it weird we didn't mention Gausman in the pitchers? Like, he's a good pitcher. He's had a great season. He's probably top 6 pitcher in the National League if you look at stats. But we just totally ignored him, and I didn't really do that intentionally. It just sort of happened, and he's fine. He's coming back.
Yeah, he's all over the place right now. I mean,
and his price point too. It's just like at that price, I can go up and get. He's more expensive than Nola. It doesn't make sense. At least on FanDuel,
he's cheaper than McClanahan.
Yeah, cheaper than McClanahan, but more than Nola. So a little bit of play.
Everybody's cheaper than McClanahan. Did you guys both give an answer on Atlanta? I apologize if you did.
Yeah, 1-1 both ways.
Andre, Toronto.
5-5.
Yep, same.
5-5.
Baltimore.
1-1.
Yeah, I can't do it today.
0-0. I'm not playing them at all.
They're still like Santander is still 2.8K on DK. Like, what up with that price? That's ridiculous.
Yep.
Like Mountcastle 3.7, McMancini's 3. They're still pretty cheap, and there's still some power there. But I agree. I like McClanahan too, and that bullpen that backs him up is really solid as well. Let's see. Texas. Do we like Texas tonight?
I say 1-1 for me.
Listen, I'm going to give Texas a 4. Let me tell you why. 4-3. Let me tell you why. Odorizzi is going to get some ownership, and he's going to give up 2 home runs. Like, somebody's going to get to him. Who is it going to be? I don't know. This team is yucky, but I don't. Odorizzi's been bad.
Yeah. We got it at 14% right now in DK as far as Odorizzi, and the price has bumped up a little bit on Adalis Garcia, but he's still too cheap at 3.4K when you consider his skill set. Pozo is an interesting punt catcher at 2K. I know he hasn't really done it just yet. He's DH, he's not the official catcher. They're running 2 catchers, but if you need a flat out punt, we saw him put up big numbers in the minors for what it's worth. Andre, you're saying something. Did I cut you off?
I was saying that they are first play like they look really good tonight, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at that afterwards, dig into it more.
Minnesota, Andre?
Ooh. I'm gonna say 2-3.
Oh, by the way, Buxton might come back tonight. Just a heads up. There's a chance that Byron Buxton cracks the lineup, and if he does, he's 2.9K on DK. So if he's playing at 2.9K, he's a phenomenal play.
Yeah, I get it. Dean, how many more stacks we got, man? I want to talk about some home runs, brother.
Look, Devin, I'm just here to regurgitate whatever the chat's saying. We're basically running down the entire slate. It's got to work like that. We got 4 more, 5 more.
So let's run through quickly.
All right, we started early on questions, so we still have 7 minutes. We got plenty of time. Andre, give me your thoughts as far as Cleveland.
I'm going to say 2-2.
Well, 1-1.
I mean, Arizona. There's 30 teams playing tonight. We're not playing Arizona.
Oh, no.
0-0.
Come on, guys.
Look, somebody wants to be sneaky. All right, Houston. Andre, Houston.
Will got me on a bandwagon, man, so I'm going to go 5.
Man, I'm going 5-5. I'm trying to figure out right now how to make this thing work. 5-5 for me on Houston for sure.
The Yankees are lost on this slate. I know it's a terrible ballpark, but they have plenty of power and they actually get a hold of it. Manaea, not a big home run guy, not a big fly ball guy, but we saw last time McGurprelian, big fly ball guy, big home run guy. The Yankees hit at least 3 homers or so. Andre, what do you think of the Yankees?
1-1.
Wow. Okay.
I will say that DJ LeMahieu is too cheap today. He's 3,600. Like, I can't. That's incredible. But overall, I'm not stacking the Yankees.
This is the last stack. Then we got some other questions. Angels.
0.
Yeah, don't want to stack the Angels today.
All right. So Andre, you're going to do the FanDuel questions. If I say FanDuel, that's all you. Will, you're doing the DK questions. Those are all you. DK question from Peter Porker. DK tournament. How do you stack the White Sox tonight there, Will?
I think if I'm stacking them, I'm absolutely going to have a couple guys from the bottom of the order. So like, let's say it's Cesar Hernandez at 3,500. I'd squeeze him in. Don't make any White Sox stacks without Eloy Jimenez today. Just don't do it. Get him in your lineups. Louis Robert. I wouldn't try to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. I wouldn't be in that type mode today. I do think there's value in spending up for Yasmani Grandal. We do have him at 11%, just because, he's part of that stack and can get a hold of one. Andrew Vaughn is kind of close as well. He's another one I got written down. And let me tell you how I ended up on the White Sox. And I'm trying to go lightning round. I was when I do my home run list, I ended up with 4 guys from the White Sox on my home run list. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to stack them. I'm going to have to. So Eloy Jimenez, Andrew Vaughn, Jose Abreu, Tim Anderson. Those are my 4 that ended up on the list. So I'm absolutely putting them in stack mode.
Will, are you cool stacking? We didn't talk about the stack. Stacking the Marlins 1 through 5 versus Miley in the GPP tournament?
No. And are we on home runs yet, or are we just talking?
Just if you have them ready to go, fire away.
Yeah, I wrote them all down today. Lane Thomas and Zimmerman from Washington. Conforto from the Mets. I know that game's kind of crazy. Xander, I know that game's crazy. Alvarez and Tucker from Houston. I know that's crazy. Josh Donaldson and Mitch Garver. Jimenez, Vaughn, Abreu, Anderson. And this is like number 1. Manny Machado. Manny the man Machado over the fence today. Those are all the ones I wrote down on my list.
Andre, you got some homers?
Bryce Harper. I do like, Nimmo's leading off, but I do like for him to hit a home run today as well. I definitely like Tatis hit a home run too, as well, part with the San Diego game. And then I'm gonna go one more that's like off the board. Hold on, give me a second. Because I was actually thinking about that Miami situation you were talking about before. No, he's gonna be low owned, but I do like Joey Votto too as well. I think I met pretty much everyone in my prize pick pools. I really thought was gonna hit a home run today. So yeah, so Joey Votto as well.
Will, are you okay with Keuchel in a tournament?
I don't really like it, but I understand what's happening. So
it's in the lineup today.
Yeah, at 2.9K on DK, I love that. Is he leading off?
Yep, leading off.
Oh, I mean that's the first guy you plug in cash, I think, on DK.
Who was it? I didn't catch it.
Byron Buxton.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, 2.9K leading off. Come on, get out. That guy's a 5-tool player. You don't get any points for his arm, but whatever. He's still too cheap.
And real quick, with Miami.
Josh Donaldson. Sorry, I wrote him down too. Sorry about that. Sorry.
Miami. I like Miami in tournaments. I would say 3-3 tournaments.
Andre, FanDuel tournament, cheapest starting pitcher with the highest ceiling.
Cheapest starting pitcher with the highest ceiling. I am going to say, I don't know how to answer this because I want to say Logan Gilbert, but I don't like him today. So I'm gonna say J Happ. And
it's kind of a trick question because you don't like any of them.
Yeah, I don't like anybody really that's cheap, but to me, I would say J Happ out of all of them. That's the cheapest.
Alan wants to know Keuchel over Odorizzi. I mean, this is the whole point we're making. I don't think we like any of these guys, but they could survive. Anybody have a strong take, Keuchel or Odorizzi?
Yeah, I'm not playing. I'm not honestly. I took Odorizzi out my player pool, so I can't play either one of them.
Either one of you guys, favorite stack to play with Nola and Cole, and I assume that's DK. Well, it's got to be DK question. So Will.
With Nola and Cole, I would say Philly.
Can you guys explain the platoon thing? I assume platoon just means if you're a lefty hitter and you're facing a righty arm, it's not a lefty or a right arm right. I assume that's what the question is asking there.
Unless a pitch is reverse splits, and then the same hitter is going to have the platoon advantage. Somewhat, even though it's technically not platoon once we get into same.
DK single entry tournament, better stack combo, Tampa and New York, or Cleveland and Chicago, the White Sox.
Which New York team?
Oh, Yankees. Yeah, I didn't realize they both hit me in the cities.
Tampa and New York, or what is the other one? Cleveland. And
Cleveland White Sox.
Tampa, New York.
Unfortunately, ran out of time to do like the cash game sort of quick rundown that I like to do. But Tampa Rays, Buxton, Bichette is really, really cheap. Like Meadows is cheap. Cruz, you can play at first base if you can get there. But I think what I'm doing is prioritizing Cole and Nola in cash on DK and just sort of figure the backs out. And I'm going to punt in a few spots, not feel great about it. But that's just because I just don't like the third pitcher. I'm going to be having our lineups with that, but I don't feel great about it. We do have to step aside and make way for crunch time. Thank you for your questions. Apologies if we not get yours. We try to do our best to get them all. Thanks to Devin for producing. Andre, give me a bold proclamation. What's going to win the slate? What's going to break the slate? You said something goofy is going to happen. What's that goofy thing that's going to happen tonight?
I feel like honestly, I really do feel like this is going to be like Miami just blows up way today.
Wow.
I just feel it in my bones. So yeah, wait, that's going to happen. Man. Miami's going to put up like 8 runs.
Well, you got a hot take. Can you trump Miami going for 8 runs?
White Sox hit 4 home runs today.
There it is. Yeah. I think is Houston just going to be lost? Because I'm gonna at least have one Houston stack out.
Oh, they're going to be lost today. Lost without you. Can't help myself. How does it feel? Anyway,
I'm just letting him go.
Let's get out of here.
Thank you for watching. Do hit the like button on your way out. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications. If you guys are premium members, Crunch Time's coming up next. There is a Crunch Time tournament as well, so make sure you get in that. Yeah, that was Andre. That was Will. That was Devin. That was Baseball. That was Dean. We're out of here. Have a good weekend.